Ladies and gentlemen, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the afternoon, to the lunchtime trading room. Yeah, definitely. I think we need to get used to that name, the lunchtime trading room. Welcome back, everyone. Excited to be back. Ash has been holding it down with you guys. Proper quality, world class quality trading room. I'm gonna be doing this one. I'm gonna be holding it down. Ash is gonna be back with you guys later on, right? Tanya, I can see you. Barticles, I can see you. Look, I'm excited, man. We've been waiting for this. Now we're doing it. Before we get started, guys, kindly please let me know how the sound is, right? Is the sound good? Is my audio good? Is my mic good? Maybe do let me know first before we proceed. Yep. Sound is all good. 100%, 100%, 100%. All right. Petunia, good afternoon. Look, I'm excited, guys. You guys won't see my face in this session. All right. It's all good. But yeah, like I said, Ash will be back with you guys later on. All right, later on. Look, I'm excited. Let's jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into it. You guys have been told about the facelift, all right? Hence we've got these trading rooms Mondays to Fridays, 4 trading rooms a day. Look, from the morning to the afternoon to the evening. All right, from the morning to the evening. So we're gonna get right into it, right? Maybe do let me know, what are you guys looking at? What are you guys looking at? All right, we're gonna cover both the crypto. We're gonna cover both the crypto as well as the FX. Yeah, we're gonna cover both the crypto as well as the FX. Yeah, that is what we're gonna do. That is what we're gonna do. All right. So in case you guys are not aware, you don't know, all right, we have another division of TD Markets, which is the TD Markets Exchange, where you can trade derivatives directly from our exchange. All right. And what you see right now is exactly that, the TD Markets Exchange. If you guys want to sign up for an account on our exchange, the website is tdme.io, right? It will be on the chat. If you guys want to sign up for an account directly on our exchange, the website is tdmarkets.io. Sign up. It's a quick process, and then you will be directed to our exchange. It looks something like this. So in this session, we're gonna hit both the crypto, the commodities, and the FX. You know, I'm looking at the chat right now. Tanya, you are looking at gold. I know gold is your favorite. I know gold is your favorite. All right. I know that gold is your favorite. So let me do this. Right. Let us start with gold. Right. Let's see what gold has done. But before we do that, I think it's important that we maybe just have a look at a few fundamentals, right? That are, or maybe talking points from a fundamental standpoint that are moving the markets at the moment. All right. So right now, guys, right, what's moving the market right now is the Fed's expectation. Fed expectation. All right, that is currently what's driving the markets. Hence the dollar has been a bit stronger right now. So our economic indicators, your, especially your dollar economic indicators, they are basically dominating price right now. You've got your Fed expectation, and yeah, so the theme is a strong dollar at the moment. That is the theme. We are sticking to a strong dollar. All right, we're gonna also touch on fundamentals on the crypto side of things. Okay, so gold, what are we looking at on gold? All right, so gold is a very interesting, gold's price action right now is very interesting, all right, because there are a couple of levels. I'm going to do a top-down analysis so that we understand what's happening on the bigger picture, the bigger time frames, and then and then we just take it down to the lower time frame. So if you look at the weekly, guys, right, we have this level. We've got this level here. I'm gonna draw a line. We've got this level here. All right, this level is an untapped level, which means price, if the dollar continues to strengthen, according to the DXY, the dollar is still strong, right? If it continues to strengthen, then we're likely gonna see gold coming back to tap this zone here. This is around 3,883. Okay, now remember, at the moment the dollar is strong, right? Hence we are seeing gold pushing down. There is nothing right now that is suggesting otherwise in terms of the dollar's performance. Nothing is suggesting otherwise. All right, so what I'm saying is, if we stick to the same theme of a dollar, of a stronger dollar, then we are most likely gonna see, from the technicals, price coming back to tap this low around 3,880. All right, I'm also gonna draw another level. I just want to draw another level, which I think is gonna be an important level to us. All right, so I've got these two zones, right? Keeping it very simple, these two zones. Obviously price has been pushing down, right? So I think from my side, I'm only interested in these two zones. All right, there we go. So let me do this. Let me just expand my chart, just 1 second. There we go. All right, so this is how we're looking, guys. Right now gold is still bearish, and I see Batical, you are saying that did you see gold hit your fib level end last week Monday on the daily? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you've been tracking it. No, that's good. I'm glad that you've been tracking the gold, just like how we said it would move. All right, Petunia with the Nasdaq, I can see you right there. So let's first start with gold. So have a look at what gold is doing, right? So gold, you see where gold is right now, right? It is reacting from the 5th of the Fibonacci. So we are still bearish. Let me do this. We are still bearish, right? Now, just to go back a little bit to last week's price action, we can see that gold tapped this low again one more time, right? It tapped this low again one more time, but effectively reversed from this low. All right, and then it pushed towards the upside. But you will notice that structurally it is still creating lower lows as well as lower highs. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna draw my Fibonacci. From drawing it on the impulse. All right, we're looking for the C wave. We've got the cycle developing. Maybe let me do this. Right, so we have this low. So it seems like we've got the cycle developing, and we could get one more push down. All right, so with that point of view, if you take your Fibonacci, draw your Fibonacci like this. In fact, let's take it. Yeah, so this is where price is right now. It is currently rejecting that 50, right, and the 61.8 zone. It is currently rejecting that 50 and 61.8 zone. All right, so now the outlook here, right, from obviously this daily time frame structure, is that we could come back down to 3,880. Okay, and the possibility here we're looking for is for price coming back down, which could ultimately just confirm this, right? So this is what we want to see if we're gonna get, right? Let me show you this. Let me just show you just this. There we go, right? Kind of like a descending structure here, a descending structure, right? Where we're looking for a high, and then from there one more push back down to that, and then from there maybe we could get something like this, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe something like this. It seems like this is trying to create a falling wedge, right? If you're familiar with your patterns, guys, it seems like gold from the daily time frame is trying to form a falling wedge, right, which could maybe give us one more push up before it drops. But as long as price is respecting that resistance there, and we've got this fib as such, then we are simply looking for a lower high. We are simply looking for a lower high somewhere here, just about here. Simply looking for a lower high. All right. So it's interesting what gold is doing. All right. So on the daily time frame, let me just check the weekly. The weekly, we still don't have anything on the weekly, but on the daily time frame, let me just zoom in here on the daily time frame. So just be careful with this price action, guys, right? Because we know that we may go up one more time. So you see what's happening right now. If I go to the much lower time frame, if I go to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, right, it seems like we could go up one more time. Looking at this continuation pattern, right, before we go down, before we drop, according to the 1 hour, 4 hour, it seems like we may go up one more time just to create a new high. And then from these levels, we'll see how far it will go, right, of course. And then from these levels, maybe get a continuation towards the downside. So it is currently correcting. All right. One more push and then boom, one more push towards the downside. So this is what I'll be looking for on gold. Right? As long as it doesn't break this resistance, here, we are good for some shorts, right? And then we are then gonna look at we're then gonna look for this possibility of a falling wedge. Possibility of a falling wedge here now, something like this. We're then gonna look for maybe something like this. You see how it is. So if you are watching for buys, your buys were supposed to be down here. If you are watching for buys, your buys were supposed to be down here, somewhere down here. So where price is right now, there could be one more push towards the upside. I'm also looking at this previous structure here. All right. So we could be getting one more push high, like a short-term move towards the upside, one more push. And then from there, we're going to look for a lower high. So the bigger structure is bearish. This structure here. Internally, we've got a possible continuation to go back to the highs internally. And then from there, then we are looking for a continuation towards the downside. Yeah. So let's see if we can get this move up. Let's see if we can get this move short term. If not, then this is the move we wouldn't want to miss, right? This is the move we wouldn't want to miss. That is the move we would not want to miss. Yeah. So this is the view here. This is the view. All right. I see with gold. Let's have a look at what silver is doing. With silver, we have this structure here, guys, right? We've got this structure here, which looks like price may go back and tap that structure again, because we have a test. We could go back down for the test again, right? This is on the weekly time frame. We could go back down for the test. So if the dollar continues to strengthen, then what we're looking for on gold, we're looking for this on silver. So this is how it looks right now. Let me just check if let me do this. Yeah, not much is happening on from the weekly time frame on silver, right? Not much is happening, but it's all right. I'm just gonna identify my levels. All right, so let's just have a look at this price action on the weekly time frame first. Um, all right. So this is how we're looking on silver. Okay. I'm just gonna put that structure there. All right, there we go. So from the weekly standpoint, this is how I would have my my chart. Maybe let me also do this. There we go. From the weekly time frame, this is how I would have my chart, as simple as this. All right. And then let's see on the daily how things are looking on the daily. Yeah, on the daily time frame. Let's just, yeah, this one also, it's a you know, it's gonna be a FIP trade as well. It's gonna be a FIP trade as well. All right. So this one hasn't really reached the 50, right? You've got your impulse down, you've got your correction. So this one hasn't really reached the 50 as well. I think it's on 38.2. It's bouncing from the 38.2 level at the moment. All right. So what I would look for on silver, I would wait for price to make one more push up, and then once it gets around the zone, that is where I would look for a continuation, one more push back down to that low. It seems like gold and silver are preparing to go up one more time. If you look at the lower time frames, if you look at the 4-hour, right, it seems like it's preparing to go down, to go up one more time according to the lower degree structure. So this is the lower degree structure, right? So the lower degree structure maybe give us one more push up, and then anywhere around this high, then we're looking for a continuation towards the upside. So the lower degree structure looks like it is set for some upside. All right. Let me just remove this. Yeah, it is set for some upside, because what I see here is let me do this. Yeah, so we've broken towards the upside. We've broken towards the upside, and now one more correction and one more push up. Yeah, so it seems like gold and silver are preparing to give us an intraday, intra-week move towards the upside before we look for a push towards the downside. All right. So that's how we're looking with gold and silver. We are gonna have a look at BTC in a moment, right? I can see there's Nasdaq there. Let's have a look at what Nasdaq is doing. All right. Let's have a look at what Nasdaq is doing. Well, Nasdaq is still trading in the same spot, and it hasn't completed the cycle, right? So you see what's happening right now with Nasdaq, guys. I'm just gonna make it very simple. I'm gonna look at this from I'm gonna base my analysis from the daily time frame going down. All right. Now, according to the daily structure, there are two possibilities on what NAS can do, right? But the dominant move is bullish. The dominant move is bullish. All right. So what we're seeing here is that we already have a low, which is down here. We've got a low which is down here. The dominant move is still bullish, but there's a possibility that it may visit these lows again, right? It may visit these lows again, right? So let's just hold that thought. So we can see that it's really not going anywhere, right? It's just sideways in between. So let me do this. Let me just look for just a few things here. Let me just identify the structure. So that is the structure here. All right. Okay. So I'm on the daily time frame. All right. Excuse me. So Nasdaq, like I said, the dominant trend is bullish. There's a possibility that it is creating a bigger corrective structure, a bigger corrective wave, which could push price back down to this low before it goes up. So something like this, where we can get this, push price down before it rallies towards the upside. This is the possibility according to what we're seeing here. All right. However, the dominant trend is still bullish. Everything is still bullish. All right. So what I'm saying is, in my plan for Nasdaq is that if I'm looking for buys on Nasdaq, I'm looking for buys either down here, right? My plan for this is that I'm looking for buys down here. If I'm looking for buys, that is one area. That is one area. So if it was to come back down here, then I'm looking for buys. All right. And those buys can go all the way back to that high there, right? And then another area here is that now remember, guys, right? Remember that the last time I showed you guys this, right? Last time I showed you guys this, that it is still trading inside this formation like this. It is still trading inside this formation. All right. So this is where it is trapped right now. Where it is trapped, right? Let me do this. There we go. This is where it is trapped right now. So obviously it came from the high, right? It went from the low to the high. So now this low here, right? Any move towards the downside, we are looking at it coming back down to this low, right? And then from there, if it breaks and goes back down here, right? This is where I'm going to be looking for my buys down here, right? So where it is right now, it's just in between. For me, it is not really that attractive at the moment. It is not that attractive at the moment. What I want to see is, I want to see Nasdaq coming back down to this low, right? Or I want to see it breaking above this structure. Let me do this. I want to see it breaking above. Let me just put the price level there. I want to see it breaking above 29,000. Okay, so 30,000 is a little bit above. Yeah, in fact, let me look for 30,000. Let me look for 30,000. All right, there we go. So this is what I want, right? Now you see that 29,700, the area is rejecting. If it doesn't break above that, then we could go a bit towards the downside, right? We could, if it doesn't break 29,700, we could go a bit towards the downside. But if it breaks 30,000, then I see this pushing towards the upside here. So the only way I'm gonna buy NAS is if it goes back to that low, or if it breaks above 30,000. Where it is right now, it's just in between. It's just in between. All right. Some of you guys may look at, you might be looking at something like this. You see that where if it breaks, you might anticipate price to drop, right? Which there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. All right. So if it breaks this trend line, then definitely we're gonna go back down one more time, right, to come back down to these lows. Or if it breaks above the 30,000, I'll be looking for some buys. So this is what's happening with Nasdaq right now. This is what's happening with Nasdaq right now. All right. So yeah, so let's see what's gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. And then let's have a look at some BTC. All right, let's have a look at some Bitcoin. Let me do this. I'm gonna switch to the exchange. All right, I'm gonna switch to the exchange. Let's have a look at some Bitcoin. All right, on the exchange. Remember, guys, the website, the link is on the chat if you wanna open up an account and trade derivatives on our exchange, right? The link is on the website. So let me just expand this chart. So Bitcoin is still under pressure. There is a bit of recovery on Bitcoin that's happening right now, but it's still under pressure. All right. So what I see from Bitcoin is the following. Let me use the daily time frame. What I see from Bitcoin is the following. All right. All right. So we have ultimately bounced from this area. So now this means Bitcoin is trading inside this range, right? It's trading inside this range. So it gave us this price action here, and then it broke out of this price action. You see that it went towards the upside, right? And then as it does, as it did that, it then created a bullish structure. If you take a look at this candle here, that candle is important. It's very important. I'll explain why. All right. It's very important because it bounced from this structure here. You see that? So from this low, we are pushing towards the upside. Price came back down to retest right there, right? So there's another retest that's happening there. So from here on, the structure is bullish at the moment. So now we have this level, or rather let me do this. We've got this level where we can easily see Bitcoin going back to 65,600, right? Let me go to a lower time frame. Let's go to the 4 hour. There we go. Let's do this. Let's remove this. This chart is a little bit, there we go. All right. So now we have this retest here, right? So this retest, we're anticipating it to go back to this zone, there, right? So upon the retest, we are looking for it to go back to that zone. So yeah, so it has recovered slightly. However, institutions are still dominating. They are still dominating Bitcoin. All right. As a result, anything can change anytime. But with the current structure we see right now, it seems like Bitcoin is gonna push one more towards the upside. So that price level there, let me just put it. Where is it? Price label. Yeah, there we go. So it just needs to reject 62. It just needs to bounce from 62, right, like it's doing right now. And then once it does that, we're going up to 65. So I think it's nice price action. If you look at Ethereum as well, something similar also on Ethereum. In fact, Ethereum is almost there, right? So this is what's happening with Ethereum. Let me show you. This is what's happening with Ethereum. It's trading within this. All right. So because of that higher low, this is headed back to this high. It's almost there. So this one is about to complete its structure and price action. All right. We do have this break here. So with Ethereum, guys, looking at a couple of things. Let me go to excuse me. Let me do this. All right, there we go. All right, so with Ethereum, it has broken out of this. You see this is a demand zone. So here we've got a demand zone right here, right? It has broken out of this demand zone. It pushed towards the upside. It is trying to retest this. It is trying to retest this, right? We can see here we have the first bounce. we've got the second bounce, right? So from here, we're just looking for this to complete and go up one more time, to complete its move and go up one more time, right? So Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys, I think these are really good opportunities, really good opportunities. All right, one more push on Bitcoin towards the upside, of course. All right, let me do this. One more push towards the upside. So this one, at least we are looking at 65, right? A continuation back to 65. A continuation back to 65. A continuation back to 65. All right, that is what we're looking for. So at the moment, it's currently correcting. At the moment, it is correcting, and then just waiting for a continuation up. I think it's a really good setup. A really good setup. Bitcoin is retracing it. It is correcting right now. Bitcoin is correcting right now. Right? It is correcting right now. Yeah, it is correcting right now. So just looking for the C wave. Just looking for the C wave here, and then continue this towards the upside. There we go. So yeah, so just looking for the C wave and then continuation towards the upside. There we go. So that is your Bitcoin. That is your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin. All right. So let me have a look at the chat. So you're tracking. All right. Great stuff. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you have not subscribed, guys, please subscribe to the channel. All right. Please just click on that subscribe button there. It will just take you a split second. All right, let me go over the chart. So Sam, Peter, and then we've got Euro USD. Let's have a look at Euro USD. So Euro USD, it is not on the exchange. It is on our platform. All right, cool. So Euro USD is preparing. Euro USD is preparing to give us a continuation towards the downside. All right, so let me show you this. Let's just do this. Just 1 second. Let me do this. All right, so let's have a look at Euro USD. Interesting price action here we are getting from Euro USD from a structure point of view. I'm gonna use the weekly. Whoa, let me just do this. I'm gonna use the weekly as well as the daily just to get the bias. All right, and then we'll go over to the lower time frame. So on the weekly time frame, a couple of things. On the weekly time frame, a couple of things, right? A couple of things here. It has already come back down to this low. All right, it's already come back down to this low. So between Euro USD as well as GBP USD, I would favor GBP USD for some downside, right? And I'll explain why. Euro USD has already come back down to this low. So the next structure it could go down to on the weekly time frame is this one down here, right? That is the next structure. But this is the structure, like, you know, kind of like the outer structure, not to be too complicated on this one. So we are seeing the following here, guys, right? We are seeing the following. So as long as Euro USD is below this zone, is below this is the weekly zone. As long as Euro USD is below this supply zone, we're good for some downside. This is a supply zone, right? As long as it's below the supply zone, we are good for some downside here. We are good for some downside. So looking for a cycle, of course, right? Looking for a cycle. So on the weekly time frame, this is what I see, right? This is what I see. So as long as it's below this zone, we are good for some downside. All right. Now, the daily simple. Have your Fibonacci. Right. So Euro USD might still do something like this. It might still do something like this, tap this, and then continue towards the downside again, right? This is something we need to be aware of. So if you're looking for a continuation down, it might still give us one more push up before the continuation. Let me just look at the yeah, definitely look at your 4-hour. You see now with the 4-hour, you have this continuation pattern, right? So short term, it could just give us one more push before we look for a continuation down. Yeah, it seems like gold, it seems like it's gonna do this. Silver seems like it's gonna do this. And I think what's this? And you know, and the other dollar pairs, of course, it seems like they are still gonna do this. Let me show you here. Yeah, so it seems like we're gonna get one more push up before we go down here. And remember, this is on the fib. This is on the fib. Yeah, this is on the fib. So it seems like we're gonna get something like this before we go down, right? So they are correcting right now. All the dollar pairs are correcting right now. AUD USD, NZD USD, they are correcting right now. So Euro USD, this is how we're looking. Let's see, let me go through the chat. We have AUD CAD. AUD CAD, the last time I saw it, it was going up. Not this. Yeah, the last time I saw it, it was going up. All right. So this one, let me do this. Let's just zoom in. Zoom in. Let's see. Yo, on the weekly time frame, yo, it's just ranging. Okay, now I see what's happening now. All right. Let me just have a look at this. So, in fact, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So AUD CAD, I can see what's happening here. Let me just go back to the weekly. Let me see. Okay, so AUD CAD, I can see what's happening here, right? The structure, we have a few supply and demand zones. All right, so basically what has happened here is so this this low here, right? So price came back to the demand zone. So price created a demand zone here. It pushed up. It came back to the demand zone. Obviously, on the demand zone, we would expect price to push up. So from these levels, you would have looked for a buy because it's from the demand zone, all right? And now, looking at where it is right now, we have this, right? This supply zone now. So we come from a demand zone, we are going to a supply zone now. Okay. Yeah, it seems like price is going to be attracted to the supply zone. So from where it is here, right? So this would be the direction here to that supply zone, and then if it breaks that supply zone, then we continue pushing up. If it breaks that supply zone, you see how it is. So where it is right now, this is where we would look for buy opportunities. As long as it has bounced from this, broken this structure. So anyway here, this is our buy area, right? So we are likely going to see a continuation of this. We are likely going to see a continuation of this. Let me... Okay. We are likely going to see a continuation of this. Yeah, we're likely going to see a continuation of this, right? Yeah, it's trading within levels that you know, buyers are now in control. Looking at where price is coming from, buyers are now in control. All right, so there's a correction happening now. There's a correction forming now. Once this correction is done, looking for a continuation up. Looking for a continuation up. All right, so proper price action here. Proper price action. I saw something else which I'm not gonna look at, but I can see also. Yeah, no. Looking for price to go back to that. And also, you see here, right? Obviously, this is your resistance here. This is your resistance. So price has been bouncing. Bouncing. It could still come back to bounce there, right? And this supply is on that zone. So the market is going to be easily attracted. That supply zone is going to attract the market. So if you have buys, if you are holding buys, right, you would want to take your profits there. If you are in buy positions, you would want to take your profits there, right? I mean, that is the most likeliest area where we could get a bit of activity, either price bouncing and going down again, or breaking towards the upside. So you would want to then use that zone for your profit taking. So where it is right now, we would then look for one more push towards the upside, right? And then from there, we'll see. We're gonna have two possibilities from there. Either price is gonna break and go up, or it's gonna bounce and go down. Only once price reaches that zone. All right, so AUD-CAD, that is how we're looking. But nice price action towards the upside. GBP NZD should be going up though. The last time I saw it, it was going up. It's almost at take profit. GBP NZD is almost at take profit. There we go. It's done. Look at where it is. It's done. There we go. So GBP NZD, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke about this on one of the trading rooms, and we said, if you guys remember, we said that this is going back to this high. So it's done. The setup is complete, right? The setup is complete. That's where it is right now. The setup is complete. All right. So from here, it may go up, it may break and go up, or it may reject and go down. So these are the two possibilities here, right? It might just break and go up, or it could reject and go down. So these are the two possibilities we are seeing here. But in terms of this move is about to complete. It's about to complete. So if you're holding any buys, just be aware of this high. Just be aware of this high. Price might reject or it might break. So it's a 50-50 where it is right now. Just like that. Just like that. You might have this view. Let me show you. You might have this view like this. Right? You might have something like this where since it has been creating highs here, we would anticipate it to go back to that high, right? There's nothing wrong with this view. This is on the weekly time frame. There's nothing wrong with this view. So if it breaks that high, then surely we are going back to that resistance there. If it breaks that high, you see that? So surely we are going back to that resistance right there. All right. Yeah, so maybe one more push, just one more push, but this high there, just be careful of that high. So that's GBP NZD. It's done. The setup is done. So we're waiting for the next cycle to form. All right, we're waiting for the next cycle to form. As for this cycle, it's done. It is done. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. We're looking at setups. All right, we're looking at setups, great setups that are forming. We've got about 29 people watching us live. Thank you for joining us, guys. Look, we do this every day, Mondays to Fridays. We have the morning. This is the lunch time. So while you're having lunch, while you're having your coffee right now, while you're chilling at Starbucks right now, a quick look at the charts at 12 p.m. right? Quick look at the charts. We also have the 3 p.m. session as well as the 6 p.m. session. Ash is gonna be back. Later on. All right. And then next week, I'm gonna be with you guys the whole week. All right. Let's see what's next. What about, I saw something here, GBP USD. What about GBP AUD? Yeah, so look at GBP USD. You know, I favor GBP USD more than Euro USD right now. So I think GBP USD, the setup to me looks proper, you know. So let's determine what's happening here. Remember, when we spoke about GBP USD the last time, I showed you guys this structure, right? That the pound dollar is trading within this, right? It failed to break above, so now it's trying to come back down here, right? So now in the meantime, the structure has turned bearish now. The structure has turned bearish, all right? So all we're looking for, you see what price is doing now? All we're looking for is a lower high. We just waiting for the lower high for us to get a continuation down, which could possibly take us back down to this low. You see that? So right now it is correcting. So let me go back to the weekly. I like to use the weekly time frames. The weekly time frames gives me much more insight. You know, they give me much more insight. Yeah, they give me much more insight, you know. So let's do this. All right. So a couple of things here, all right. So we are correcting. We're looking for a continuation down. I'm going to use the Fibonacci still. So with the Fibonacci, this is where price is. So for me, anywhere around this area, you see now, anywhere around this area, I'm anticipating a lower high to form. Anywhere around this area, a lower high to form and a continuation towards the downside, anywhere around this area, right? Yeah, this is going to be a nice opportunity. Anywhere around this area, looking for price to go down one more time. Let me just have a look at. Yeah, no, definitely. I don't wanna do too much on this chart because I think as it is right now, it is enough. Yeah. So this is basically my, how I'm positioned on this, looking for a lower high and then looking for a continuation down after that. After that. All right. So you would just wait for your setups. Yeah, wait for your setups. You would just wait for your setups. Okay. Yeah, so this GBP USD. So between Euro USD and this, I favor GBP USD. Euro USD, yes, looking for one more push down, but I favor GBP USD. So I'm looking for this. All right. So there we go. There we go. We are slowly running out of time, guys. GBP AUD. Let's have a look at GBP AUD. GBP AUD should be going up as well. Last time I saw it, it was going up. Yeah, there we go. So GBP AUD, guys, is going back to this high. That's where it's going. It's going back to that high. That's it, right? It's going back to that high. Um, let me go back to the daily. Let's have a look. Yeah, there isn't much to do here except just let me just follow this trend here. 61.8. Yeah, there isn't much to do really here, but just to follow this trend. Just to follow this trend. That's it. Just to follow this trend. So there could be a correction before we go up, right? So there could be a correction before we go up, a bigger correction at that. I can see on the lower time frame, price has started to correct. So there could be a correction, a bigger correction before we go up. All right. So that's something you need to look out for. But as it is here, it's pretty clear. Looking for a continuation up to go back to this high. To go back to that high. All right. Great stuff. So guys, we won't be able to cover all the pairs, right? I can see there are still more pairs. Won't be able to cover them, but don't worry, Ash is going to be back later on. It's going to cover them. So gold, we've already checked gold. All right. So Matume, maybe just rewind to the beginning. We spoke about gold already. We already checked it, looked at it. And yeah. So Peter, maybe later on, let's have a look at those later on, right? AUD, JPY, let's have a look at it. Euro, but yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what's happening, right? So just to summarize quickly, the dollar pairs are correcting. The dollar pairs are correcting. We looked at Euro USD, we looked at gold, we looked at silver, all of them are correcting. But the initial momentum has not died down. So the dollar is still strong. The initial momentum has not died down. Therefore, we anticipate the continuation of that momentum, right? So take that and let us see later on at 3 p.m. All right. Thank you for joining us, guys. Please do subscribe. Thank you for joining us. All the links are on the chat right now. Follow us on all social media platforms. The links are on the chat. If you want to open up an account, the link is on the chat. I hope this was a nice lunch for you guys, right? I hope this was a nice lunch for you guys. All right. We'll catch you guys at 3 p.m. Have a good one. Cheers and enjoy.